The Phillies last night in their opener against the San Diego Padres. Let's see if they can do it again tonight. The encore, game number 2, is coming up in front of a sold-out crowd here at Citizens Bank Park. Hi, everybody. I'm Tom McCarthy, along with Chris Wheeler. Gary Matthews will be along in just a little while. Well, enough about the Phillies offense. They scored 3 runs last night. They got the victory. How about the starting pitchers and the bullpen? The staff for the Phillies has been outstanding. And Wheels, they had the second-best ERA in the National League in the month of May, and it kind of went under the radar.
Yeah, it did, Tom, because they weren't winning that many games. Pitching was tremendous. The starting pitching, the bullpen did a good job. See right here what the starting pitchers have done in the last 16 games, but not a lot of wins mixed in there for the Phillies because of the struggles with their offense. Walks, strikeouts, very good. Opponents' batting average, outstanding. And overall, the starting pitching has basically given them a chance to win every time they go out there. Now, the bullpen could get even better if Brad Lidge can do this again. Tremendous 9th inning last night. In a save situation, he gets David Eckstein on the ground ball, throws a fastball away to Adrian Gonzalez, who's looking to pull the ball. He wanted it middle in, and then Chase Headley had been having some problems with that pitch down and in all night from Roy Halladay, and Lidge went right after him in the same spot with a very, very good slider. That was a powerful inning last night for Brad Lidge. You could see the enthusiasm that he had for a save in June, and that's a lot of pent-up emotion coming out.
You know, and Rich Doobie, the pitching coach for the Phillies, said the thing that he was most excited about, that fastball that he threw to Adrian Gonzalez to get him, because he is such a good hitter. Great control from Brad Lidge. And speaking of control, well, since his second start this season, John Garland of the Padres, he has been in total control.
Yeah, Garland's a guy who was with Arizona and the Dodgers. The Dodgers didn't even put him on their postseason roster against the Phillies last year because he didn't pitch that well. Signed as a free agent. Look at the ball move right there. He has a very good sinker ball. He's had good command. He's kept the ball in the ballpark for the most part. He gave up a couple of home runs to Ryan Zimmerman his last time out. But the guy is a ground ball pitcher. Unbelievable earned run average right now in the month of May. And walks and strikeouts are just okay because I mentioned he's not a guy that necessarily going to go out there and strike out. He's a guy that's going to try and make you hit the ball, put it in play, and let his fielders take care of it.
You know, and statistically, you don't see it there, but the Padres are saying that he's a little shaky in the first inning of games, so we'll see if the Phillies can get to him early tonight in Game 2 of this 4-game series. It'll be John Garland on the hill for the Padres. Jamie Moyer, meanwhile, look for career victory number 100 after the age of 40. Last night it was Shane Victorino who jump-started the offense. We'll see if he can do it again tonight. The lineups are coming up next. Look at the Padres starting lineup, brought to you by Xfinity, only from Comcast. Leading it off in center field, Scott Hairston. David Eckstein, the second baseman, bats second. Adrian Gonzalez hits third, followed by Chase Headley, the third baseman. Yorvit Torrealba, the catcher, bats fifth. Jerry Hairston Jr., the shortstop, is over, batting sixth. Oscar Salazar, the left fielder, hits seventh. Chris DeNorfia, the right fielder, bats eighth. And batting ninth and pitching is right-hander John Garland. And they will face lefty Jamie Moyer, who at the age of 47 wheels is looking for his 264th career victory.
And he's really pitched well this year, especially lately. His last 5 starts, he's been very, very good. The opponent's batting average is way down. Left-handed hitters, you see, overall are only hitting 194 against him. He is just another guy who's been kind of the victim of non-support by the Phillies offense. He certainly has pitched well enough to win. In fact, he lost 1-0 in Florida on Sunday in the getaway game with the Marlins. And the Southwest Airlines scouting report, victim of very little run support. The thing about him lately is he had very good location on his pitches. Everybody knows that Jamie Moyer has to hit his spots to be effective, and a lot of times the home plate umpire will come into play. And one other thing about tonight, as you can see by the back of his neck already, it won't take long to get loose.
Yeah, it is warm tonight. Darryl Cousins is the home plate umpire. And Jamie has worked games, obviously, with Darryl Cousins before. In fact, Jamie is around a 500 pitcher with Darryl Cousins behind the dish. Marvin Hudson's over at first. Jim Joyce is at second. And around at third is Jim Wolf. So here we go for Jamie Moyer. He's looking for his 6th victory of the year. And Scott Hairston leads it off. Hairston hitting .239 with 6 home runs and 14 runs batted in. 1 for 3 in last night's ball game. And he's leading off because Will Venable is nursing a sore neck. And we're underway as that one floats over for a strike. It's 0-1. This is the 6th time this year that Hairston has led off for Bud Black's squad. And he hits one hard down the left field line. Hooking just foul.
Well,
wow.
One thing this guy does is give you the chance to get up to 1-0 real fast because he has tremendous power, does Hairston. You know, that ball is really close, and they're complaining about it a little bit, but it's foul. When you see it on the replay there, it's definitely foul. Jim Wolf got it right. And Bud Black just came out of the dugout, and I think he did it because Hairston stood there and kept looking as if he thought the ball was fair. But Jim Wolf, Randy's brother, got the call right, and they will not have to go to replay on that.
And they could have, and Darryl Cousins is the crew chief of this umpiring crew, so he would have been the one that had to decide whether they would go to replay. 1-2 the count. Mentioned that Jamie is around 500 with Darryl Cousins behind the plate. He's 3-3 for his career, a 4.93 earned run average with Cousins, and that includes 7 starts. In the air to right field, it's pretty deep. Jason Worth heading back. He has room at the track, and he makes the catch.
Well, the ball was just flying during batting practice here today because it's so hot and so humid. There isn't much of a breeze to affect anything. So, you know, if you drive it in the air tonight, you get a chance to touch them all.
Phillies took some extra batting practice today. A couple of guys out there, including Greg Dobbs, Shane Victorino. Jimmy Rollins was out hitting right-handed.
You know what else Jimmy did today was throw batting practice to some guys. That was fun. I was walking in this afternoon, and I look out there and I think, who's that guy throwing BP? And it's Jimmy. He did a pretty good job, too. They were swinging at him.
He was hitting both left-handed and right-handed today. I thought that was a pretty good sign.
Well, that's what we saw from him last time during his rehab. You'd see him out there hitting left-handed, see him then hitting right-handed, see him taking ground balls, and the last thing is the running.
1-1 the count to David Eckstein, and he's out in front of an off-speed pitch, and it's 1-2.
Well, I guess when they get to that point where, you know, Scott Sheridan, Phil's trainer, feels like they can turn him loose and he can run, and he'll be back. Until he does, he won't be back.
Well, he is eligible to come off the disabled list tomorrow, but Ruben Amaro has said that he will not come off tomorrow. 2-2 the count to David Eckstein, who was 2 for 5 in yesterday's game with a big strikeout. And he lines that one to left field, right at Raul Ibanez, who comes trotting in to make the catch. So Jamie's got 2 fly ball outs.
And Eckstein's such a smart hitter and a smart player. Actually saw him move up in the box. And that's probably a good way to face a guy like Jamie Moyer, because you try to move up a little bit. You don't worry about the velocity as much, and you're trying to catch that stuff before it dives.
So a 2 away, Adrian Gonzalez, who has 5 hits and 15 career at bats against Jamie, including a couple of home runs. See what he's done on the road this year, away from Petco Park. Overall hitting .281. And he swings at the first pitch and pops it into shallow center field. 3 fly balls, 1 to each of the outfielders. And Jamie Moyer has a 1-2-3. Top of the first, middle of the first. It's the Padres nothing, and the Phillies coming up. £210, 30 years old, and Wheels, he's having a good start to 2010.
Yeah, he's having a tremendous start. Picked picked originally by the Cubs, then had a long career with the White Sox, then has moved over here to the National League, but his numbers are very good, and especially in the month of May.
Began the year with an 0-2 record, and since that time has reeled off 6 consecutive victories.
There's our Southwest Airlines scouting report on him, and mentioned sinker ball. That last thing is kind of important with him. When I mention he will pitch backwards, and you know, for those who don't know what that means, is he will throw anything at any time. If it's a fastball count, which is normally like a 2-1 or 2-0, he'll throw a breaking ball or changeup. He doesn't care. He really mixes them up.
Well, he is 5th in the league in earned run average at 2.15, and he immediately falls behind 2-0 to Shane Victorino. And this has been one of the issues for Garland, despite the fact he hasn't given up a whole lot of runs in the first innings. He's thrown a lot of pitches in first innings. And Victorino swings and gets one inside the first base bag. That's heading to the corner. And Shane's going to speed to second. He might even go to third. He is going to go to third. The ball got away from DeNorthia and rolled back down the right field line. And Victorino has his 6th triple of the year.
One thing about knowing your home ballpark, and Shane Victorino saw that as he was rounding first. He could see that DeNorthia was having trouble with that thing down in the corner. With Shane's speed, he has that play right in front of him, and he knows he has a triple. Now watch what happens when it gets into the corner. DeNorthia not familiar with this ballpark, and it hit and just stopped. So he had gone back to the corner. Now Shane sees right there that thing had hit the padding and what came to a dead stop. He saw DeNorthia was all the way in the corner, stand-up triple.
So he's at third with nobody out. They play the infield back up the middle. The first baseman, Gonzalez, a couple steps behind the bag. The third baseman, Headley, is up even with the bag.
Right, you go on this play and score if the ball's hit past the pitcher towards the middle of the diamond or to first base, not the third.
Polanco in last night's game, 1 for 4.
That's something Sam Perlazzo and Shane have talked about already. Like, you know, where you see them. You see where they are. You know what you have to do here. Don't make a base running mistake with nobody out.
Opposite way for Polanco, and it's 1 ball and 1 strike. Oh, the Lucky McDonald's Phillies home run jackpot contestant is Christine Nulf of Mount Holly, New Jersey. If the Phillies hit a home run in today's ball game, then Christine will win $100. One and two the count to Polanco.
And Polanco kind of uncharacteristically chasing bad balls right now. Pitches aren't close to the strike zone. And, he hasn't played a whole lot. He's a little anxious. And knowing him the way we do, he's kind of saying the same thing right now. Boy's a little impatient right now. Get a good ball to hit is one of Charlie's favorite expressions.
Polanco has faced Garland many times before. In fact, he's 14 for 37 against him for his career. And he chops it back toward the middle. Ooh, Victorino didn't go. He could have scored on that one, and he didn't. And Polanco's thrown out one away.
Well, he hesitated. He had to make sure it got by the pitcher. But once it gets by the pitcher, he can score. But for some reason, you're right. He hesitates on that. And, well, we'll see if it costs him. You see where the shortstop is. Now, the ball's hit slowly. Now, once it gets by Garland, I don't know whether Shane read that it took so long to get by the pitcher that the shortstop Harrison covered so much ground and was coming in on it and might think about throwing home. When you're not down there, everything happens so fast that it's just hard to say what they were thinking.
Well, here's Chase, who was 0 for 2 in yesterday's game, and he takes a pitch low. 1 ball and no strikes. Chase is average at .267 with 10 homers and 24 RBIs. This is the lowest Chase's average has been at this point in the season since 2004. At that point, at this juncture, his batting average was under .230, and he wound up finishing the year hitting .266. And he pops it up behind third. Headley makes the grab, 2 away. And Victorino still over at third.
Boy, if this isn't symptomatic of what's going on with them for their offense, right out of the chute. A leadoff triple still out there.
Oh, and here's Ryan Howard,
who could pick everybody up big time right now. Get this running.
Ryan had a base hit in yesterday's game. He's hit in 3 straight. See, his home run total is 9. He's got just 1 home run in his last 43 at bats. And Charlie talked today at length about Ryan. He said, listen, the other day Albert Pujols was locked on 8 home runs, and everybody was wondering where his power was. And Albert had a day where he hit 3 home runs of the game, and all of a sudden he was back among the top 5 in the league.
Well, they were doing a lot of talking behind home plate tonight during batting practice, and there was instructing going on too, as well as talking. And then you can do all that you want, and then you see him carrying into the game.
4 hits in his last 8 at bats with a runner in scoring position. He's got a runner at third. The count, no balls and 1 strike. And it's 0-2. John Garland has made just 1 start here at Citizens Bank Park. He allowed 5 runs and 11 hits and 2 home runs against the Phillies. He also made 1 start at Veterans Stadium, and he allowed a run in 6 innings of work. 0-2 the count. Up high, 1-2. Phillies trying to get a run home from third after the leadoff triple by Shane Victorino. On the outside corner, caught, strike 3, and Garland works out of the jam. He allows the leadoff triple to Shane, but 3 batters later, he gets through the bottom of the first. We have completed 1. We go to the second. This is the way the home first comes to a close. contribution to Phillies charities. That's what Jamie Moyer did in the top of the first inning. Phillies baseball is brought to you by the Xfinity Triple Play, your complete lineup for digital TV, high-speed internet, and home phone. Top of the second, Chase Headley leads it off for the Padres. The count is no balls and 1 strike to him. And he hits it off the end of the bat, a flare down the right field line. It's a fair ball. And Headley's going to get at least to second as Jason Worth plays it in. And it's a leadoff double for Headley. That's his 8th double of the year.
Well, Headley was a guy last night that was having so much problem batting left-handed on that pitch down and in that Roy Halladay was throwing, and also when Brad Litt struck him out with the sliders. He's a switch hitter, and he just hits this right off the end of the bat. May have been a changeup, looking at it, trying to dive. And, you know, Jamie take that pitch every time. Just happened to hit it fair.
So a runner in scoring position. Here's your Torrealba. Torrealba did not play in last night's ball game. He had been on the restricted list for the previous 3 ball games to deal with some personal issues. And he was just activated before yesterday's game.
This guy used to wear the Phillies out when he was with Colorado.
And you saw his numbers, 306 overall batting average against the Phillies.
Home run in playoffs. That's pretty good, but only 1 in his last 8, so he got off to a good start.
Well, he has been splitting time behind the plate with Nick Hundley, who started yesterday. And a line drive, fair. Down the right field line, and the Padres are going to take the lead. Torrealba is going to try for second. Worth's throw will get there a little late. It's an RBI double, and San Diego jumps out to a 1-0 lead, just as they did in last night's game.
And that's playing the game right. You know, he's trying to move the runner by hitting the ball to the right side, and sometimes you get more out of it. That ball was hit hard, too. 7th double of the season. You see, he's intentionally trying to hit the ball the other way, and he does, and he keeps it more than fair and into the corner.
So with the runner at second, 1 run across, here's Jerry Hairston Jr. Has just 1 hit this month, 1 for 13. 0 for 4 yesterday. And he's trying to bunt to the right side to maybe get a base hit, but also move Torrealba over to third.
Yeah, he's thinking right now, how am I going to get him over? And as far as that goes, he decided he was going to bunt at. Some guys are not as adept at hitting the ball to the right side as others. So the Padres played this little ball last night. Halladay just was so good the way he would work out of jams. But they hit and ran one time. Another time they ran 3-2 with 1 out. And the infielders moved and they got a 1st and 3rd out of it. So they have to play that way because of that big ballpark of theirs.
Line drive, base hit to left field. 3 straight hits for the Padres as Torrealba trots to third. And there are runners on first and third with still nobody out. So after getting the Padres in order in the first, Jamie's given up 3 consecutive hits. Here are the second. And Oscar Salazar, making his 12th start in left field, will dig in. Salazar is hitting .254 with no homers and 5 runs batted in. He's been hot lately, as you see from his numbers. He wound up pinch hitting in yesterday's game and working out a walk. Phillies a play for 2 with runners on first and third. And a soft ground ball to third. Polanco to second for 1. Utley to first, and it's in time. A run scores, but 2 outs are put on the board. Salazar got up that line pretty quick, too.
And they did a nice job of turning it because that ball wouldn't hit that hard. And the 5-4-3 double play obviously is the one that takes the longest because you got to have the most distance. But you see, it's not hit real hard. It's a 2-hopper. Polanco on the run. Great job by Chase Utley to use the bag for protection. Good scoop there by Ryan Howard on the other end.
So 2 away as Polanco started that double play. And here's Denorfia, who takes a pitch low. It's 1 ball and no strikes. Denorfia hitting .292. No homers and 9 runs batted in. Began the year in AAA. Got off to a good start.
It's really close at first base. See, Utley's throw is low. And he beat that play.
Yes, Salazar thought he did. Here's Moyer off the mound, hurrying the throw, and it's not in time. And Denorfia has an infield single on the swing and bunt. So a 2-out base runner, and that'll bring John Garland, the pitcher, to the plate.
Breaking ball there, curveball. Jamie Moore is really a good fielder. Does a tremendous job at his position, but there's very little he can do. Denorfia can run. We saw him when he was with the Reds.
Reds, yep.
And he really runs hard on everything. You know, he's always been that kind of hustle player in the minor leagues, and it's helped get him into the major leagues.
John Garland's hitting just 105 this year. No home runs, no runs batted in. He does have a home run for his career.
And he has 11 hits in 306. He's an 035 lifetime hitter with a homer. Go figure.
That home run came against Esteban Yan, and he's got a base hit to left field. And that's the 5th hit of the inning for the Padres. And now Jamie has worked himself into a little bit of a pickle because the top of the order is up. And it's Scott Hairston who flies to the warning track in right his first time up. Talking to Rich Doobie today about Jamie Moore, and I said, what do you think over his last few starts? He said, I think he's been really good. He said he's just been a victim of the offense not scoring a whole lot of runs for him. But he's off to a bumpy start here, trailing at 2-0. On the outside corner, 1 ball and 1 strike. This leadoff spot has been a problem for the Padres, even with Will Venable healthy. As a team, they're hitting just 195 at the top of the order. Every team has their hitches, and for the Padres, it seems to be the leadoff spot. But Bud Black's team is still scoring enough runs to support this pitching staff, and they're currently a half a game up in the National League West. Toward third base, to one knee goes Polanco. He'll go the short way to chase at second in time to retire John Garland. 2-run score, 5 hits for the Padres. They strand 2. Middle of the second, it's 2-0 San Diego. And it'll be Jason Worth, Raul Ibanez, and Carlos Ruiz to lead things off against right-hitter John Garland. Jason had a bases-loaded walk in yesterday's ball game that led to the game-winning run for the Phillies. This has not been a good run for Jason, but he has certainly performed very well here at home. 9th best batting average in the league in home games. And he, more than anybody else, is hoping that a little home cooking is going to jar his individual offense, but also the team's offense. And a swing and a miss at the first pitch. It's 0-1. On the Toyota Major League scoreboard, Mets won again over the Marlins 6-1. Mike Davis had 4 hits, also scored a run. Mets are now 21-9 at home this year. They're 21-9. The Dodgers are 19-9, and the Padres are 18-9. Big difference, though, is that the Padres have played pretty well on the road. 4 games over 500. Whereas the Dodgers and the Mets have, well, the Mets haven't played well at all on the road. The Dodgers have played okay, as DeNorfia tracks that one and makes the catch, 1 away. Now the Florida Marlins will be here in Philadelphia this Tuesday, June 8th at 7:05. It's the beginning of a 3-game series. All 3 games are night games. You can get your tickets, and there's limited availability left by logging on to Phillies.com. Here's Raul Ibanez. Raul has the most at-bats out of anybody against Garland. This is his 65th career at-bat against him.
Yeah, you'd expect Ibanez Polanco to have a lot of at-bats against him because all those years with the White Sox.
John Garland won a world championship with the White Sox, won 18 games in 2 separate years with Chicago. Towards second base, David Eckstein takes the second hop, and he floats the throw over in time to retire Gonzalez for the second out. And because of those back-to-back 18-win seasons, Garland comes into tonight's game with 123 wins and 104 losses. He's 19 games over 500 for his career, and he's really been kind of under the radar the last few years.
Well, Phillies faced him in Arizona last year, and they were going through a stretch where they couldn't catch the ball when he pitched. I remember that game that night. They were kicking it all over the place for him, and you know, his body language was horrible. And they finally eventually just moved him to the Dodgers because it wasn't going to work out.
Dodgers thought about keeping him this season. They left him off the playoff roster last year. They decided not to, and he signed a contract with the Padres that includes a mutual option for 2011.
Well, you see how he really tries to. He has a downward plane. He's a big, tall guy, and he really tries to keep everything down because he has nothing that's overpowering.
Line drive, base hit for Ruiz, just under the glove of Hairston. Second hit of the night for the Phillies. Carlos' second hit of the series.
Here's where we talked about pitching backwards. They'd probably do that, especially down near the bottom of the order. But he was 2-1 in the count. That's a fastball situation. He threw something off speed. And Carlos hit it really hard past Hairston. No chance. Thought he had a shot at it. And he was a little upset with himself, but that ball was smoked.
I was surprised he even got to the neighborhood on that one. Wilson Valdez takes a pitch outside. Wilson's hitting .259. He was filling in most of the time on the road trip at shortstop for the injured Jimmy Rollins. And he lines one to left. That'll drop in for a base hit. So back-to-back hits for the Phillies. And John Garland got a single in his at-bat for the Padres. Let's see if Jamie Moyer could do the same in his at-bat.
Boy, their left fielder has to move in, and I hope he doesn't. But Salazar is way too deep right now. I'm just going to say that if Jamie Moyer gets a hit, it'll be really tough for Sam Perlazo to score Ruiz. Now that Now they're bringing him in.
Well, he had a scouting report of some sorts in his pocket that he was looking at and just read it and then started coming in and put it in his back pocket.
Salazar.
Yeah.
Yeah, because well, now he's where he should be. Why would you need a scouting report when the pitcher comes up?
I guess it's. I don't think I've ever seen that before, where an outfielder had a card. He had a card, and he looked down at the card, and I'm assuming it's a scouting report. But you're right.
You just move in, especially the guy's offside.
0-2 the count to JD.
Where he was when I looked up, I thought, stay there. I'm sure they would have had a lot of people on the bench yelling, get in, get in.
Valdez is on first. Ruiz is on second. And a call, strike three. A breaking pitch, and for the second straight inning, Garland gets the final out on a looking strikeout. Phil's get a couple hits. They strand two. We go to the third. It's a 2-0 lead. Revealed in the seventh inning.
Two guys in mind.
Older, younger?
No, older.
Much older?
Well, they only came into existence in, what, 68?
Yeah.
So, I'm not thinking 90s.
You're not thinking David Eckstein?
No.
No. Who leads it off here at the top of the third?
I mean, run up the box. Now, he exaggerated that. But last time up, he did move. Basically, as the pitch was being thrown, he moved up in the box.
He lined to left his first time up.
And he's up pretty far to start now.
Jamie's worked ahead. 1 ball and 2 strikes. And it's 2-2. David Eckstein has picked up 1,354 hits in his career. And he's won a couple of world championships. And he loops it toward left. Valdez on the run, calls off Ibanez. 1 away.
Good job of communication right there by Wilson. Valdez is, the ball was hit high enough that he could see that he had it was under control, could catch it. There's no way Ibanez was going to get there, so he really must have yelled too and put that hand out. Maybe give it a YOLO tango. Love that expression.
Here's Adrian Gonzalez, who fly to center on the first pitch he saw. And that was back to the first. I think Jamie wanted that one too.
I think everybody knows YOLO tango means I got it.
I got it.
Yeah, I got it.
Or I have it.
I got it.
2-0 the count. Wheels tonight marks the 620th career start for Jamie Moyer. As he gets Gonzalez to hit one off the end of his bat toward Chase Utley. And there are two gone. And it's time for the Bloomberg Sports analysis of the game. And from 86 to 2002, from the age of 23 to the age of 39, Jamie Moyer won 164 games. Now we flipped that. That's the most. That's pretty impressive. Now we flipped that to our next graphic. Most wins from 03 to 2010. That's Jamie from 40 to 47. Look where he is.
Amazing with 99 wins. Huh?
That's when Jamie is between the age of 40 and 47. Roy Halladay isn't. Johan Santana isn't. But look where Jamie sits. And look at those names that he's up there with. And John Garland's there too. Bloomberg Sports, the leader in data analysis. They've developed an analytical product being used by the clubs. There's also a product for fans. Go to BloombergSports.com for details.
Well, there's no doubt he's pitched his best baseball after turning 40.
And he gets another pop-up. This one to Shane Victorino. Chase Headley is retired. 1-2-3 go the Padres. So 2 1-2-3 innings surrounding a 2-run inning for the Padres. Let's see if the Phillies can come back with Victorino when we return. Acura Advance by WB Mason. Who but WB Mason for amazingly low office product prices. And by Budweiser with full flavor and a crisp, clean finish. It's what we do. Bottom of the third, folks enjoying the Bud Light rooftop out above Ashburn Alley on a nice night here in South Philadelphia. All part of a sold-out crowd. And part of that sold-out crowd is the great Pete Carrill, former basketball coach at Princeton University, who was sitting right behind that Padres dugout. And Pete, who won 514 games during his college career and was the head coach at Princeton from 67 to 96. As Victorino slaps one the opposite way, and he's got his second hit of the night. He's sitting down there with Gary Walters, who's the athletic director for Princeton University, and also Jeff Morad, who's the owner of the San Diego Padres.
So he'd probably like a 2-1 or 3-2 game.
He would like a fundamentally sound ball game.
And then wasn't he known for real low-scoring games?
He would.
Now, he had Bill Bradley, right?
He did, and boy, he had some unbelievable teams, including his last year when he defeated Penn in an Ivy League playoff and went on to upset UCLA in the NCAA tournament. Wow. In the first round.
I'm trying to think whether he had Bradley or Van Bredikoff had him at Princeton.
You know, I should know that, but I think Van Bredikoff did.
I'm not going to get too much into my college basketball knowledge because that's your area.
Well, I should have known that since I did the games for a number of years, not when Bradley and Van Bredikoff were there.
I remember seeing Bill Bradley play at the Palestra when he was either a freshman or a sophomore.
He was really good.
It was like, whoa, he's different.
Well, Pete was very different as a coach, and he has Got a pretty good legacy that is spawned off of his abilities as a basketball coach at Princeton. Still looks really good, too. As Polanco slaps one the opposite way. That's a foul ball.
That's a good idea by Polanco. Try to get back to playing his game. And that shoot balls through the hole, move runners. But you know, he just rested. You can tell he's not the same player we saw in spring training or even early in the year before he got hit by that pitch.
We mentioned yesterday that Polanco was telling everybody that he was probably 85–90% back from that sore elbow, which is amazing considering that injury took place at the end of April. He kept on aggravating it over and over again, not by getting hit by pitches, but just by playing defense.
Yeah, just by the game itself and all the little things that can happen to bang that elbow again.
Well, he is certainly a very good hitter after a no ball, 2-strike count.
Look how he chokes up and he tries to put the ball into play. You know, he hit that was a strange play in the first inning. You know, when the ball, you mentioned the ball has to get by the pitcher before Victorino can score, but you know, Shane just kind of froze a little bit when he thought he was going to catch it, and then Hairston came on and he stayed at third base, and they still had more chances to score, but they didn't get a run that you really should get right out of the chute.
1-2 the count. Another throw over. Garland is very deliberate in his mannerisms on the mound, but also in the way he gets to the plate. He's long too at 6'6".
His times are pretty good though, because as tall as he is, as you just said, Tom, you watch his stride and he really, it's not quite a slide step, but it's in between and it can help hold runners, I would think.
See, they've only attempted 7 steals against him. They've only been successful twice.
Well, for a 6'6" guy, he doesn't have that big leg kick that he can run on. Watch when he delivers the ball to the plate, how short his stride is and how quick it is. Right from the belt.
Line drive, base hit it to center field for Polanco. Well, the Phillies have back-to-back hits here in the third, so they got something cooking offensively. Well, today's Thirst Inning is brought to you by Budweiser, the official beer of the Thirst Inning. That's right, it's going down cool tonight on a warm summer-like night here at Citizens Bank Park. All around the park, including that Bud Light rooftop, Harry the K's out in left field. And here's Chase, who popped out his last time up. Yesterday's game, it was the Padres who struggled with runners in scoring position. They were 1 for 13. Tonight, the Phillies are 0 for 4 with runners in scoring position.
Yeah, now this is a real good chance to make something happen here with the 3, 4, 5 who are just so overdue to drive in some runs. You know, last inning they had 2 on with 2 outs and a pitcher up. You know, it's kind of hard to score that.
But they've certainly shown that Garland's hittable tonight.
Absolutely. Well, he is a contact guy, Tom. You know, and you're gonna hit the ball a lot of times off him, and he won't get that many strikeouts. Trying to stay away from Utley and having him ground into a double play here. You know, Chase got a little antsy in that first inning and jumped at something and hit that little pop up and didn't get the run in.
Fanatic fresh off the giveaway of his new book last night. A pretty good view of what's going on here. Opposite way, a base hit for Chase. Victorino's around third. He's heading for home. Here's the throw by Salazar, way offline. And Victorino slides home safely. An RBI single for Chase Utley. And that has got to feel good. Second RBI for Chase, only his second one since the 20th of May.
And he poked it right in the hole on the left side. Good job by Sam Perlazo, too. Victorino gave him a chance to score him and did. I was talking to Sammy about that the other day, about a lot of the weird plays he's had down at third lately and the fact they don't score There it is, a sinker away, and instead of trying to pull it, Chase does a nice job of slapping it through the hole. Victorino reads it immediately as a ground ball, and he comes hard into third, and they feel they can run here, and he waved him immediately. But the third base coach is another guy who's been under pressure lately because they don't score, because every play seems to be kind of in between.
Well, still nobody out. It's a 2-1 game. Here's Ryan Howard, who struck out his first time up.
You know, Sam's been in position where a lot of plays that he's had, the games are so close, or they're just behind a little bit where you don't want to run into an out, and then the guys haven't been able to pick up runners after they leave them down there.
Well, Charlie talked about that a little bit today too, and he said that, you know, guys aren't, and he said it's a collective slump. Guys just aren't being aggressive in their own right on the base paths.
Well, Sam said, I can't wait for some situation where I can just wave a guy like now.
That ball is blistered toward left center field, and it's off the base of the wall. 2 runs are going to score, and the Padres were very hesitant going after that one. It's a 2-run opposite field double for Ryan Howard, and the Phillies take the lead.
I don't think they saw it in the outfield, but I barely got that out. That Sam's been looking for somebody he could wave in without having to worry about it, and he had a gimme there. That was easy. I don't know if those outfielders picked that up right away.
To me, off the bat, the way they reacted, I thought they thought, well, this one's out. But it was sinking.
Yeah, here it is. You know, he hits it well.
Yeah, Salazar, I think Salazar thought it was out.
Yeah, and Salazar thought it was out, or he thought it was a center fielder's play all the way, and he had no shot at it because he just quit on it.
And the center fielder, Hairston, well, he was shaded over toward right center, so he had a long way to go to pick that one up.
I think it's 4 straight hits, isn't it?
That would be 4 straight hits. They had that one time on the road trip against the Braves.
Pretty cool.
7 hits overall for the Phillies. Trying to pick up just their second.
Can't wait to see Sam Perlaza tomorrow and say, hey, you had a gimme. Finally had an easy one. You see Salazar just stop as that ball one hops the wall, and then here comes Hairston into the picture.
As I say that this would be just their second game where they have double digits of hits, and look at John Garland's reaction. Hey, pick up the ball, boys.
See, that's a little bit what he was doing last year with Arizona. I mentioned that early, that he has a tendency to do that.
1-1 the count to Jason, who flied to right his first time up.
But this should be a hitter's night. It is so hot. It's a very difficult night to pitch because it just takes the strength right out of the guy. And it should be a night where guys can't wait to get to home plate and swing the bat. Charlie talks about hitting weather. It's here tonight.
Opposite way for Jason. Heading back to Northfield, to the warning track, to the wall. He circles and makes the catch. Tagging from second is Howard. He did a good job going back and making sure he was on the base. One away with a runner at third.
Right, and that's what you do with nobody out. You have to make sure that you don't get caught in the situation where you can't get back and tag up. One out, you go halfway. A quarter to, you know, basically halfway to go. But with nobody out, always think about tagging up. Good job by Ryan Howard. As you said, now we're going to bring the infield in.
Yeah, David Eckstein's looking into the dugout to see what Bud Black wants him to do, and they do want him to play the infield in, not all the way. Talking to Glenn Hoffman in the dugout, and Ibanez hits it in the air, left center field. That should be deep enough to score the run. Hairston over into the alleyway, makes the catch. Howard coming home from third, and the Phils get an extra run on a couple of fly balls. One by Worth to get Howard to third, and then finally by Ibanez to bring him home.
Yeah, great job of getting him over, get him in. As Tom said, with 2 fly balls, one by Worth, and then Ibanez knocks in the run.
22 RBIs for Raul. And here's Carlos Ruiz. How about a 7-batter inning?
Yeah, it's fun. It's like about 4 or 5 games worth of stuff. all crammed into one action-packed half inning.
Carlos singled his last time up. And he hits one to center field, not deep. Hairston had him played beautifully, and the inning comes to a close. But the Phillies scored 4 runs in the inning on 4 base hits. They don't strand anybody. They went to work, and they lead it 4-2. Shop, except no substitutes. Sarge joins us here in the booth. He was having a little trouble with his headset there. And Sarge, first time the Phillies have scored more than 3 runs in a game since the 21st of May. How about that?
Well, they ought to consider themselves there lucky, you would think. Although just starting to hit the ball hard, put together some hits for the first time in a long time. That will take pressure off the guys.
Well, some good at-bats as well. As we go to the top of the 4th. Yervit Torrealba leads things off. And he takes a pitch for a strike. It's 0-1. And now Jamie has a 2-run lead to work with. He's retired the Padres in order in 2 different innings. Mentioned before that this is the 620th career start for Jamie. It's the 17th most in Major League Baseball history. Little cue shot right back to the hill. And one away. Jamie needs 5 more starts after this to move into 16th place. And that's where Jim Cott sits. And you see he's among the active leaders, or he is the active leader. Andy Pettitte started today and didn't get a decision in the Yankees' loss to the Blue Jays, is at 468. Cy Young has the most starts in Major League history. He has more than 800. But Jamie is, as we've said before, compiling a very impressive list of individual numbers and places that he now sits in Major League Baseball history.
He's just had a wonderful career, getting the most out of his ability, and a guy that you look at, you would not say, wow, this guy would be in the major leagues over 15, 20 years or so. Well, guess what? Still competitive, still throwing strikes. And the game is still fun to him.
Well, Jerry Hairston has the count even, 1 ball and 1 strike. He singled his first time up. And he takes a breaking ball for a strike. It's 1-2. I think that the number of starts Jamie has made, that's just starts. And he's made a number of relief appearances as well. Really shows how durable he's been, too.
Been durable, and that's what you need for a long career. Not getting hurt or having those injuries.
Liner right at Polanco, 2 away.
You get some of those nagging injuries from hamstring, quad muscles, and so on. it can take its hold on him.
Well, speaking of durability, Roy Halladay honored before the ball game today for his perfect game against the Florida Marlins last Saturday night. Carlos Ruiz presented him with the pitching rubber. The Phillies presented him with a new fishing pole, and he was also presented with the opportunity to go on a bass fishing trip once the season comes to a close. And there's the fishing pole that we just mentioned the Fanatic had given Roy Halladay. Roy loves to fish. And there will also be a day later on this year, in August, that will be preserved for a ceremony honoring Roy Halladay and his perfect game.
Oh, that's awesome. Well, he lives in Florida, so I'm sure he does do a lot of fishing.
Salazar lines one to left. Here comes Ibanez. A 1-2-3 inning for Jamie Moyer. Jamie's retired 7 consecutive batters. We've played 3.5 here in Philadelphia. It's the Phillies 4 and the Padres 2. Last of the fourth, Phillies lead at 4-2. They'll go back to work against John Garland. 8-9-1. Wilson Valdez, Jamie Moyer, and Shane Victorino. Valdez singled his first time up, so he's got a base hit and one official at bat.
Yeah, actually singled on a breaking ball. So he's kind of held his own in terms of being able to hit major league pitching, driving some balls, and in the beginning looked a little overmatched, but he's been catching up.
He was swinging from his heels on that one.
Yeah, that ball never moved back out over the plate. Straight fastball that was in on him. And that's the pitch that he'll get smarter on. He seems to hit that ball that's out over the plate. Here comes a curveball.
And he pulls it right toward Jerry Hairston. And Valdez hustling all the way, thrown out for the first out of the inning. And with one away, Jamie Moyer will get a chance to bat again. Jamie struck out his first time up with a couple of runners aboard. His lifetime batting average with that strikeout is down under $130. I think he's okay with that, but as you said, Sarge, he's unbelievably competitive.
Yeah, obviously, he'd probably like to hit a little bit higher, but again, being able to pitch as long as he has is just unbelievable.
He chops it back to the mound. And Garland hurries the throw for the second out. Hey fans, sections of the historic Game Used Phillies sod are available from the Phillies and StadiumAssociates.com. Each piece is preserved and displayed in a commemorative case. Purchase it at the Majestic Clubhouse store or by calling 877-GO-PHILS during games at the Game Used Collectibles Kiosk. That's in section 126. Or you can go to Phillies.com and make your purchase today. Some of those game-used blocks of turf have the paint on them from the postseason when they cut it up. You know, when they put the logos up the first and third base lines. Some of the blades of grass are red, some are blue, Sarge, some are white.
How are they selling?
I think they're selling pretty good.
Really?
1-1 the count to victory.
Interesting. In '84 with the ivy, all the dead ivy they put in that little ceramic.
Yeah.
They were selling them like they were hotcakes.
Victorino slaps it towards short. A big easy hop for Hairston. Low throw dug out by Gonzalez, a Gold Glover last year, and it's a 1-2-3 fourth inning for John Garland. So an easy inning for the Padres right-hander. We go to the fifth. It's a 2-run Phillies lead. Oh, we go to the top of the fifth inning. It's a 4-2 Phillies lead. Jamie Moyer looking for career victory number 264 and number 100 after the age of 40. He probably gets tired of people talking about his age, doesn't he?
Oh, yeah, definitely. I'd rather talk about some of his accomplishments on the field.
Norfield leads it off, and he takes one off the outside corner. Well, this is the 75th game that Carlos Ruiz has caught for Jamie Moyer during his career. It's the second most that a catcher has caught for Jamie. Dan Wilson of the Mariners has caught the most. High chopper to third, and Polanco throws across the diamond for the first out. 1-1. Hey, this week the skipper takes a stroll out to first base for an exclusive interview with Ryan Howard. This one you won't want to miss. It's the Charlie Manuel Show tomorrow at 12:30 right here on MyPHL 17. There's Charlie talking to Jimmy Rollins. Jimmy's added a little bit of life to that dugout the last couple of days.
You know, a lot of times guys that are hurt, especially if you're a guy that plays every day, it does mean a lot for the players to have you on the bench. Might see some things normally that other guys would not see, or you see in the game that he might pick up. As Garland gets his second hit, that ball hit pretty hard in the hole.
Well, he's matched his season total in hits tonight. Came in 2 for 19, and he has 2 hits tonight. So he's aboard for Scott Hairston.
All right, Howard will play behind him. Before he does play behind him, he always lets Jamie know. And he'll give the sign, crossing his hands, letting him know he'll be in back. That's the sign that they give that they will play it back.
Toward the second base side, Chase tracks it down, spins, stumbles, one hop throw, dug out by Ryan Howard. Wow! Chase was spinning every which way, and Ryan Howard hung in on that throw.
Well, it just shows you what an athlete Chase Utley is, and also Ryan Howard. His momentum is going to be taking him toward the right field line. Once he catches that ball, there he goes. See how that momentum going that way? You got to be an athlete to be able to throw the ball that way. And good thing there, Ryan Howard didn't get the leg stepped on. There's that momentum. One hop right there to first base. There's his leg. Look out. Good play all the way around.
So a runner in scoring position, but 2 away for David Eckstein.
It's actually definitely taking a base hit away, and probably an RBI if it squeaks through.
A line drive toward left. That's a foul ball. And it's 1 ball and 1 strike. I mean, this is unbelievable, Sarge. He is stumbling as he spins.
Yeah, and his momentum, though, going the other way, and then to be able to throw a throw that's in the vicinity. It's what's amazing about the play.
Well, Ryan has done a very good job this year on those scoops. And I know he's made his share of errors. He has 6 this season. But he has, and tonight, he's scooped out 2 balls already. Towards center field. Easy fly ball to Shane Victorino. Jamie Moyer strands a runner in scoring position. Helped out by a little defense from his friends. Chase Utley. A fine defensive play to get to the ball, get rid of it, and then he was a community. Go to peopleallstars.com and vote for your favorite everyday All-Star who could represent the Phillies and be honored at the 2010 All-Star Game in Anaheim, July 13th on Fox. Bottom of the 5th inning, Phillies lead it 4-2. Seems like a renaissance offensively that the Phillies scored 4 runs in an inning. And they also picked up 4 hits in that third. Placido Polanco had one of them. And he'll start things off here in the bottom of the 5th. And he swings at the first pitch and he loops it to right center, a base hit. That's the 8th hit of the night for the Phillies.
Not hit hard, but very effective going that way. And he has an inside-out swing, but he does try and hit that ball, stay up the middle. And when you do that, you will be consistent. But take a look at this, not trying to pull it. See how he just goes out and almost serves the ball out into right center. That's what keeps you hitting 300 or around 300 as Harrison throws behind him.
Well, with nobody out and a runner aboard, here's Chase Utley. Sarge, there's been a lot of extra hitting, a lot of extra video work by the players, by Milt Thompson, Phillies hitting coach. Charlie Manuel's gotten involved as well. I mean, Charlie loves to teach and talk about hitting. I asked Charlie about that today, and he said he thinks it's important during the course of the season, and you know, when a team's going good, when a team's not going good, for him and for some of the other coaches to take a look at video to see if they can see something that maybe the players don't see, and also for the players to know that there's a group that cares, that they care about, you know, the guys individually and collectively to kind of get out of a slump.
Yeah, and with Charlie having been a hitter and then also going through slumps, he knows those type of tribulations that you go through, and he knows how difficult it can be. But having a guy on your side where you don't have to look around and think if you're going to be out of the lineup, it does help you, and it helps you get back that much quicker. And he does a lot of times. He just stays right with his guys and will keep them right in the same spot.
Well, he said today, he said, you know, the job of a hitting coach, and Milt, of course, has done a wonderful job as the Phillies hitting coach during his time here. He said the job of a hitting coach is hard. He said, you know, you've got all these different styles of hitting, all these different personalities. You've got different work ethics. You know, it's not just one style. You might have one approach,
yeah,
but it's a lot of different styles.
Yeah, all different styles. And when you get ready to hit the ball, and the good hitters, they do it. They stay through the middle of the field. Now, easier said than done, because the pitcher is throwing pitches maybe in an area where you're not able to do that. But if you can consistently stay that way over the course of the year, you hope things will average out where you're going to have not only your stats, a team's going to win, but you'll be consistent throughout the year.
Well, maybe things are starting to even out again for the Phillies. They've got 8 hits tonight. They've scored 4 runs. They've got the leadoff batter aboard here in the bottom of the 5th. Chase is 1 for 2. And it's even 2 balls and 2 strikes.
Doing a good job here so far, and trying to get the ball up in the zone. Garland throwing a lot of sinkers. The success has come when the ball has been up in the zone. They've been able to get good hard contact on the balls.
Three and 2 the count.
Going up, meaning right near the belt area, not the chest area. Right near the belt area. That sinker ball that they throw on the knees, that's the one you're going to get that ground ball with. Usually on the belt area, you get line drives, and that ball may be going out of the ballpark.
Polanco goes. The pitch is hit in the air to right center field. Hairston on the run, makes the catch, and Polly's going to be doubled up. He hesitated a little bit and then looked and thought, well, that ball's going to drop, but it never did drop. It just kept on hanging up there. And the double play is recorded 8-3. And there are 2 outs.
Yeah, he took a chance on that. Starting to run, he felt he was maybe too far to even turn around and come back. Ball hung up there all the way, though. Harrison getting a good jump on the ball. See, it wasn't even a shoestring, and once he catches the ball, he just gathers himself. There goes Polanco. He's looking all the way. Maybe he didn't pick him up because he's still running as if the ball was in the gap.
Well, here's Ryan Howard, who had a 2-run double his last time up. And he hits one toward right, another base hit. Swinging at the first pitch. 9th hit of the night for the Phillies.
Yeah, the other things he's doing, staying on the fastball. You know, a lot of times, the first time up, taking a fastball right down the middle, that's an especially if you're sitting on breaking ball. Ryan Howard is a fastball hitter. Yes, he can hit the breaking ball out, but look how quick his hands are inside as he just clears his hip. But mainly, the ball's up in the zone where he can see the ball. His problems have come swinging at bad and soft pitches below his knees.
Jason Worth flied out to right both times. Second time right to the wall. The first time to the edge of the warning track. And it's no balls and 1 strike to Jason. Right center field. Scott Hairston. He didn't see it right away. Now he's back to the warning track, to the wall. It's gone! Oh, boy, did that carry right into the first row. Splashdown. A 2-run home run for Jason Worth, and the Phillies lead it 6-2. Christine Nulf, you've just won $100 courtesy of the McDonald's Home Run Jackpot.
Well, it's no secret in that wind, when it gets warmer, the ball starts to carry, and gone as Harrison looks up, covers up his head. Good stroke there by Jason Worth, and that all coming on the heels of those other at-bats as he hit the ball to right field. Actually caught a ball that was up in the zone again and drove the ball out into the deepest part of the field there near right center, more center field than right.
And that young lady was as startled as anybody that ball landed in her vicinity. I think she lost her drink. She lost a piece of her pretzel. And the first home run for Jason Worth in more than 2 weeks. And man, did that carry.
Yeah, it sure did. It just got up there. He had good backspin on it. It just shows you how strong he is. And another indication why he should be taking that ball and hitting the ball the way he is to that field.
Pop up straight up in the air. Torey Alba off with the mask. Oh, he's got room, and he makes the catch. And the inning comes to a close, but what a good inning it was, because Jason Worth tacked on a couple more. He didn't think so. It was a 2-run home run that he thought was possibly caught by Hairston. Instead, first row, baby, 6-2 Phillies. By Independence Blue Cross. We're here for you every step of the way. Oh, Jason Worth's 2-run home run has supported the pitching of Jamie Moyer. That came in the bottom of the 5th inning. Jason, I don't think, thought that ball had enough legs to get it out. And first time the Phillies have scored 6 runs since the 17th of May against the Pirates, as Adrian Gonzalez leads it off here in the 6th. Sarge, you know, the next day is when Zach Duke of the Pirates beat the Phillies You know, that was the last time the Pirates starting rotation earned a win.
And that's what they get. They actually started us on that, didn't they? That long losing streak.
Well, maybe tonight's at bats for Jason is starting to stir him a little bit.
Well, I think he was already stirred not hitting that ball over the last week and a half or so.
On the hands to Gonzalez. Shallow right for Utley. One away.
It's amazing he can get in the kitchen on guys like Gonzalez there. And again, has that movement. You try and wait, and that ball got in on him. He hasn't had a good at bat. Now watch where this pitch is. He waits and it gets on him. Actually hit it off the end of the bat there. But nevertheless, not a good swing.
Well, I was asking Rich Doobie about that today, and I said, well, why is he able to do it this year? And he had difficulty at times, Jamie, to do it last year. And he said, well, it's different from year to year. And you kind of make adjustments, and they have made adjustments over the last year or so. A broken bat as Headley hits one on one hop to short. Long throw for Valdez. 2 away.
Wow, what an arm this kid has from deep shortstop. Very confident with his arm. When he sets and throws that ball, it's as strong as any of them in the league. Now look at that. And he just throws this on a line. You can hang some wash on that throw that he threw. It was just so straight and hard. Yeah, he's done okay. He's held his own.
I agree with that. I mean, even offensively tonight, he has a base hit and 2 at bats. He's not going to hit like Jimmy.
No.
And neither is Juan Castro, but those 2 guys have played some pretty good defense. Here's Torrey Alba with 2 away. And he rolls one right at shortstop. Valdez with another chance. A 1-2-3 inning for Jamie Moyer. Moyer very fast with his pitches tonight. We go to the bottom of the 6th. Phillies lead it by 4. Phillies are leading at 6-2 as they'll go back to work offensively against John Garland. Phillies have reached double digits in hits in today's ball game against Garland, who was riding a 6-game winning streak, 6-0 with a 1.58 earned run average over his last handful of starts. Here's Carlos Ruiz to lead it off, and he takes a pitch low. 1 ball and no strikes. John Garland was drafted in 1997 in the first round by the Chicago Cubs. Sarge, that was the same draft that produced in the first round Troy Gloss, Vernon Wells of the Blue Jays, and Jason Worth, who at the time was selected by the Orioles. Pretty good class of first round players.
It is a good class. Darling just kind of coming into his own. He's always had a pretty good arm. He's a little bit more down playing with those pitches now. Sometimes with pitchers, it takes them a while. He's always had a pretty good arm.
Good years with the White Sox. As Ruiz fouls it off, it's 3-2.
He seems to be a little bit more aggressive when coming at the hitters. You know, before as a pitcher, he used to nibble, and then come in with a strike and get hit hard.
Well, he gets Ruiz, who fouls it right into the glove of Torrealba. And there's the first out. Oh, it's time now for our Coors Light Freeze Cam. Roy Halladay honored before the ball game for his perfect game last week. Carlos Ruiz brought out the pitching rubber. Never thought a pitching rubber would look like that, Sarge.
Right, and he's very happy too with Ruiz and the way that he called the game. As you see Halladay's family there.
Where his wife and his two sons, as Valdez hits one right back to the box, and Garland, 6'6", like a quarterback, was trying to lead his tight end Adrian Gonzalez to the bag, and he almost led him too far.
Yeah, well, he had his toes right there on the bag. Gonzalez, a good athlete himself.
Well, the applause has gotten louder for Jamie with each at bat tonight, and with each successful inning on the hill. He's 0 for 2. He has struck out, and he's grounded out. And he takes all the way, and it's 0-1. This is the impressive thing, too, is that this is the bottom of the 6th inning. Only one start this year did Jamie not pitch at least 6 innings. Just one. He's down looking on strikes, so he's going to go to the 7th inning on the heels of his second strikeout at the plate. A 1-2-3 6th. We go to the 7th. The Phillies lead it by 4.
Horizon game summary. Take a look at it. Phillies with some offense here tonight. Jamie Moyer's done a great job. Just the 2 runs in the second inning when they had 5 hits. Jason Worth has a 2-run home run. Ryan Howard a big double, a 2-run double to left center field in that 4-run third inning. Kind of loosen everything up, I think. You know, get an extra base hit, drive in a few runs like that from one of your big boys. And Phillies right now 6-2 lead time as we go to the 7th.
And Wheels, you saw no walks, no strikeouts for Jamie. That's not a big deal, but no walks for Jamie. That means he's gone 45 1/3 innings since the 1st of May. He's walked only 8 batters during that time.
That's really been his MO lately. It's a good point. When he's been on this good run, is he hasn't been walking many guys. And left-handed hitters haven't hit much off him either.
Jerry Hairston leads it off in the 0-1 to him. Towards shortstop to his left, Valdez. He's been busy the last 2 innings. 3 straight assists for Valdez.
Well, what they're doing right now is what you hope they'll do with Jamie Moyer, and the right-handed batters are all trying to pull him. And as a result, he's working away with the sinkers, with the changeup, with that little cutter, and they're playing pepper with Valdez.
Here's Oscar Salazar 0 for 2. He bounced into a double play. That turned out to be a big double play back in the 2nd inning, as the Padres would go on to score 2 runs in the inning. Without that double play, that inning would have been a whole lot worse.
Yeah, they got a couple more hits after that double play.
Inside 2-0.
Pitch count's very good tonight right now. See all those ground outs, 11 of them. And he's going to throw his fly balls too. But when he can get right-handed hitters that keep pounding the ball to the left side, that's his game. You know, some of them are going to go through like they have tonight. Garland's hit a couple balls through the hole. They've had others that go through. But Jamie Moyer likes that. He likes to have hitters make contact on him.
On the inside corner, 2-2 to count to Salazar. Swing and a miss way out in front. He almost spun himself to the ground. First strikeout for Moyer. 2 gone here in the 7th.
I think he threw a changeup there, but not in the normal spot where he throws his changeup down and away. It's more like a Cole Hamels changeup. Yeah, I have to ask him. You have to check the charts to see if that was a changeup, because it was. I don't know now. If they're look at the grip. But normally his changeup doesn't come into a right-handed hitter like that. It goes down and away. But that did look like a changeup grip.
2 outs to Norfield, 1 for 2. An infield single on a swing and bunt his first time up. Grounded out to 3rd. Boy, he is just dealing tonight. He is slicing them up. A pop-up, shallow right field. Jason Worth a few steps back. Another 1-2-3 inning for Jamie Moyer. He's retired 8 consecutive batters. It's time to stretch here in Philadelphia, with the Phillies leading it by 4. We go to the bottom of the 7th inning. Shane Victorino is going to lead things off. And how about Shane in the 1st inning? He started the bottom of the 1st with a leadoff triple. Safe and secure at 3rd base. Safe and secure with New York life.
Yeah, and he kind of stayed there.
Well, he did. But it got better as the game went on.
It's the good part is it's gotten much better, because you give up, you don't get that run in the 1st inning. It's one of those, oh no, here we go again.
Shane on the first pitch from Garland chops it easily to Gonzalez. So Garland's now retired 5 straight. Shane's 2 for 4 in today's game with a run scored. Shane was out taking extra batting practice today, and I thought it was kind of odd because he had the 2 hits in yesterday's game, the home run and the double. I said, so what are you doing? And he said, well, I'm trying to get the same feeling I had last night because it had been a while. Today, I'm trying to get it to carry over. He said a lot of times I won't do that, but because he's been struggling, he liked the way he felt last night, so he wanted to carry it over to today's ball game.
And he has. And he's hitting off Jimmy Rollins at one point. I don't think that much that's going to continue.
Some bullpen action for the Padres. Sean Gallagher is the right-hander loosening up. 1-1 the count to Polanco. Swing and a miss from Polanco. He's had a couple of good at-bats since that first inning when he grounded out with Victorino on third. Got the single to center in the third against Garland. Then he scored. Then he had that single on the first pitch to right center field.
I really liked when they ran 3-2 to chase Utley up to, even though it turned into a double play.
Right back to the box, 2 outs. Well, it's time now for the Dodge Stump the Fans Trivia Quiz Answer. Wheels will remind you once again about the question. Who is the Padres' only other batting champion besides Tony Gwynn?
I try to read your reaction. And I told you I had 2 guys in mind, and you said how early, and so the first guy I thought of I think is wrong, and that's Dave Winfield. Even though
that's a good guess.
Yeah, but I think you said the reaction you gave me was later, so I'm going to say Gary Sheffield.
Gary Sheffield is correct. 1992, he had 330. Tony Gwynn, by the way, won 8 batting titles en route to 3,141 hits.
Only 8, huh?
Log back onto Phillies.com to find out if you're the winner of Phillies prize pack. Thanks for playing Dodge Stump the Fans.
Alex Trebek's judges are trying to figure out right now if we get credit for that. I thought I worded that. Or the reason I brought up Winfield, besides the fact I've been reading that book, Bill Madden's book on Steinbrenner.
Yeah.
Oh, what a great book. If fans like baseball books. This book, Steinbrenner by Bill Madden. The stuff on Dave Winfield, there's unbelievable. Went on with the foundation and, typical George. But that's what made me think of him, and I was going to guess him, but then, I kind of got the feeling from you was later than that.
Well, I was going to ask you brown uniform or blue uniform. Well, because they wore those brown and yellow uniforms at Winfield.
Yeah. Yeah, they did. They had those corn stalks.
2-1 the count to Utley. And Chase fouls it off.
I was in the old Jack Murphy one, that when it was really high, the walls out there before they brought them in. Winfield, McCovey, and Nate Colbert. Back to back to back, and each one went further. I'm telling you, the sounds those made that night, and you had to really hit it, Tom, to hit it out of that park. And it was a night game.
I forgot that McCovey even played for the Padres.
Oh, the 3 of them, they were bombs.
Utley hits one in the air to left center field. Hairston into the alleyway, has some room, and he makes the catch a couple steps from the wall. Chase Utley gave it a ride, but he goes down, and the Phillies are retired in order here in the 7th. We go to 6-2 Phils. Now we go to the top of the 8th inning. How about the job that Jamie Moyer's done tonight? Jamie, who has pitched into the 8th inning just one other time this year. That's when he had that 2-hit shutout.
There's nobody up in the bullpen as the 8th inning begins. On a
Only
night
thrown
like
71
this.
pitches.
Well, they've been aggressive.
Yep.
And he's done a great job of throwing strikes and pitches just off the plate that they're chasing and hitting into weak outs. You know, I think you'd only throw 72 pitches at this point on a smoking hot night like this is amazing, especially when he had one tough inning.
Lance Sawatsky is pinch hitting, and he's not up there that long. Valdez. Well, if Valdez had to work on anything tonight, he's able to do it because he's had a lot of action. Phillies baseball is brought to you by your participating Philadelphia area Chevy dealers. Visit ChevyDealer.com. By Southwest Airlines. Go to Southwest.com. Grab your bag. It's on. By Xfinity. It's TV, phone, and internet reinvented from Comcast. And by Suzuki and the amazing Musashi Sports Sedan.
Padres used to have a guy, and this is what would happen when he would pitch. All you did was play pepper with Ozzie Smith, or whoever the shortstop was.
Randy Jones?
Randy Jones. Just like this. You know, down and away, down and away, down and away to right-handed hitters. Ground balls are short.
Well, the last 3 innings, Valdez has had 4 balls hit to him.
Yeah. Jim Cott, we saw Jim Cott last week in New York. He did one of the Phillies games there, and he was talking about that night. He and Randy Jones pitched a game. I think it was like an hour and 30 something. You know, we'll have to look it up someday what it was. It was an amazing time.
Scott Hairston, towering shot to left. Looks like it's going to stay in the yard, and Ibanez comes running in to make the catch.
Left the ballpark and it was still daylight.
Hey, these lucky fans are not only lucky enough to see Jamie Moyer's outing tonight, but also they are today's Citizen 7. They'll each receive a prize pack, courtesy of Citizens Bank. Citizens Bank with the most 7-day branches in the Philadelphia area. To find a branch near you, visit citizensbank.com. 2 outs. Here's David Eckstein. David is 0 for 3. He's flied out 3 times tonight. Although I guess you could say the first time was a liner. It was a soft line drive to left.
He's hit the ball in the air 3 times. You know, there have been a lot of ground outs tonight.
0-1, a liner down the left field line. Foul. It's 0-2. You know, it's funny. Back on the 14th of May, Jamie gave up 3 solo home runs to the Brewers. And
there's the only inning where, you know, where he gave up 17 pitches in that inning.
And he has been unbelievably efficient every other inning as Eckstein loops one into center for a base hit. He didn't hit it that hard.
How many hits you say he has?
1,355.
He gets some funky hits.
He does.
Because he makes contact. Yeah, look, he's even laughing. Look at Jamie Moyer. Eckstein's laughing like, how'd you hit that thing? And Eckstein can't believe. I think that thing was almost on the ground. Look where it is. It is almost on the ground. I thought it was low. Look where it is. The bat is almost on home plate. That's why both of them were laughing like that. Like, come on. I don't know any cricket terms, but that's cricket, right?
That is. Or a wedge. Gonzalez takes a pitch low, 1-0.
Yeah, and he hit it. You know, he hit it like the whole pitch and wedge about 50 yards of the green. You know,
some hit it straighter than others.
Some do.
Gonzalez tonight has grounded out twice. He's flied to center. Jamie's really worked into his kitchen. It's 2-0.
And I got to watch him now. And you may see Rich Doobie go to the phone pretty soon. Just get somebody out because the way the ball, you know, we talked about in the first inning, it was flying in batting practice, and it's flying here. There he goes. It's flying here tonight.
Bill Meyer. He's got somebody getting ready.
Yeah, they have to get somebody ready because all of a sudden you get a couple people on and somebody pops one, you got a ball game.
On the Toyota Major League scoreboard, Mike Leake has a couple hits, a run scored for the Reds. They lead at 2-0 in the bottom of the 6th inning.
That guy must be pretty good. That's Leake.
He's got a 4-game hitting streak. It's the longest for a Reds pitcher since 07. But yeah, he is pretty good. Homer Bailey was supposed to be their stud from the minor leagues, and he's been okay, but this guy has been even better. 2-1 pitch. Hit on the ground. Diving play. Ryan Howard to his feet. How about the night Ryan has had defensively? A couple of scoops and a big old belly flop to finish up this 8th inning. Jamie allows a 2-out single to David Eckstein, but then his defense, and it's Rose to the occasion tonight, rises once again to finish up the inning. Manual Louisville Slugger bat for fans 14 and under. It's a great giveaway. Log on to Phillies.com now to get your tickets. Big series against the Braves. Phillies are 2 games up over the Braves, who were finally cooled off last night by the Dodgers. Jason Hayward struck out 5 times in that ball game last night.
Yeah, that was a reality check night. You know, Jason Hayward is a tremendous player and is going to possibly be a great player. But, you know, he'll always be able to say I punched out 5 times one night.
Well, here's Ryan Howard. He has 2 hits and 3 at-bats. He has scored 2 runs, driven in 2. And he's played a wonderful game defensively tonight. And a swing and a miss against Joe Thatcher. He's the new pitcher for the Padres. Thatcher pitched in last night's game. This is his 17th ball game overall. 16 punch-outs and 10 2/3.
This guy, we saw him last night, as Tom mentioned. He just works away at left-handed batters. Feels like he throws a fastball, he cuts it, maybe a slider too. I don't know if he threw any changeups. And remember, it looked like fastball cutter.
Souvenir up there.
Yeah.
And Howard is down on strikes. One away.
That's a slider, looked like. Yeah, that one had a pretty good break to it.
By the way, there's 1 out here in the 8th inning. And there is nobody up and loosening in the bullpen right now for the Phillies.
No, you wonder if they might get somebody up as the inning begins, just in case. The Warriors pitching one of those Randy Jones type games tonight.
Jason homered his last time up. Ooh, has to do a little dancing as that pitch comes in low. 1 ball and no strikes. I think those 2 fly balls to right his first 2 times up did anything to help him along with that home run.
Maybe help keep him in a little bit, you know, instead of flying open. And you know, Jason knows what he's been doing. Everybody does. And you know, it's a matter of correcting it. He's a good player. He's a good hitter, and he'll get it going again. But you know, if he can stay closed a little bit more, he'll drive the ball to right and right center. He's dangerous. As that home run showed, he thought he'd hit a fly ball out and kept going.
Ahead 2 balls and 1 strike. And it's 2-2.
One thing about him, you know, he's so strong and he hits the ball so high that there's no park can hold him at any park. So, you know, when he gets on those hot streaks, he can really hurt teams anywhere.
Goes the opposite way with that, and it's a foul ball.
And he's got those big old long arms too. Even when he pulls off a little bit, he can still get the pitch. Here it is. Now watch his reaction. You know, you got the feeling there he thought it was going to be a fly ball out, and then it just kept going and going into the first row out there.
Toward right field, not as deep this time. Denorfia makes the catch. 2 outs. Hey, the Cleveland Indians will be in town beginning Tuesday, June 22nd. Boy, the month of June is upon us. Phillies will be in Boston next weekend, then the Yankee Stadium. Then they'll come home and they'll play that series with the Indians on the 22nd, 23rd, and 24th. Then the Blue Jays are in town. Get your tickets now by logging on to Phillies.com. It includes that Citizens Bank Business Person Special on Thursday the 24th. 2 outs for Ibanez, and Raul starts ahead, 1 ball and no strikes. Raul's sac fly back in the 3rd. It really helped Jamie Moyer because it gave him a 2-run cushion.
Well, they did a good job in that situation because Jason Worth hit a fly ball, moved a runner, and then Ibanez knocked him in. He got Ryan Howard over to Jason, and then Ibanez's fly ball got him in from 3rd.
Ball got a piece of Torrealba, so he'll all wander around the home plate area, give him a few extra moments.
Yeah, right in the mask.
He may have hit his arm before it hit the mask, too.
It rocked him. So when he took it off, they're checking his jaw.
Seen some funky deliveries from left-handed pitchers, but this one is pretty funky. It's eating up the catcher right now.
That's why a lot of them are still around. You know, a left-handed pitcher, he can be a little bit funky, get left-handed hitters out. Everybody needs them, and they can stick around a long time.
3-2 the count to Raul. And he squirts a foul, and it remains 3-2. Phillies scored 4 runs in the 3rd after falling behind 2-0. And then added 2 more in the 5th. They lead it 6-2 here in the bottom of the 8th inning. That's part of the story. The other part of the story is the game that 47-year-old left-hander Jamie Moyer is twirling out on the hill, and he's going to get a chance to try to complete this when we go to the 9th inning, because there's nobody up loosening in the pen.
It's quiet out there.
Here's Jamie. He's getting some air right now. That's air conditioner that's pumping back there.
I wonder if he's been through a few uniform tops and sweatshirts or undershirts tonight.
Towards center field, Hairston on the run, and he makes the catch. A 1-2-3 8th inning for Joe Thatcher. The Phils go down in order for a 3rd consecutive inning. We're going to go to the 9th inning. Headley's going to lead it off, and Jamie Moyer's going for the complete game. Next Tuesday, the Florida Marlins will be in town for a 3-game series. Get your tickets now by logging on to Phillies.com. Jamie Moyer is scheduled to pitch the finale of that 3-game series. Again, Phillies.com. Jamie with 32 career complete games. His last one, the 7th of May, here at the ballpark. That was a 2-hit shutout. And now, at the age of 47, he's trying to finish off the Padres with Brad Lidge warming up behind him, just in case. The count is no balls and 2 strikes to Chase Headley. Rich Doobie's been charting those pitches tonight. He's charting pitch number 85 right there.
And Charlie Manuel's talked about a 4-run lead in this ballpark. As far as he's concerned, it's a save situation. Isn't in the rule book, but it is for him. So he's got his closer up.
Last night, the Phillies had a little Saturday night magic down in Florida. A perfect game for Roy Halladay. And Charlie Manuel's team is having a little magic on the mound again tonight, because Jamie Moyer has scattered 7 hits and 2 runs over 8 innings. And now all of a sudden it's 3-2 to Headley. The crowd wanted that pitch from the home plate umpire Darrell Cousins.
Well, Jamie's control has been so good tonight, and you know he don't want to walk somebody here to start the 9th inning and get these guys going a little bit.
The 3-2 off the end of the bat, foul. Now, when Jamie threw that 2-hit shutout, he was the oldest pitcher in baseball history to throw a shutout, and he was as efficient that night as he was tonight. This is his first 3-ball count of the night.
Yeah,
it's because these guys have been so aggressive. And low, ball 4. So his first walk, and it comes here in the 9th inning.
Yeah, and you know, as you said, he hadn't thrown that many pitches as Brad Lidge continues to throw. But this night's got 47. This night's got to take something out of him. But he probably still got a pretty good adrenaline rush working, trying to complete this game.
Yeah, I was going to say, it might even be building more and more. Yeah. Here's Torrealba, who doubled and drove in a run back in the 2nd. He scored also. He's grounded out his last 2 times up. And that's over for strike. Belt high. It's 0-1.
Ryan Howard's going to play off the base runner. Headley at first.
Line drive, foul. Nice play by that fan over by the railing. It's 0-2.
Yeah, he had pretty good reaction to see that called foul and catch it at the same time, or maybe he didn't see it called foul.
He may not have, because he didn't see a seat where he was coming down to.
That baby. There was very little time to see foul by the umpire and catch that. Good job.
Ruiz wants Jamie to shake off a few signs.
Well, a little 6-4-3 would be sweet here.
He got a double play earlier in the ball game. That was a big one back in the 2nd. That was a 5-4-3. The 0-2 pitch, just off the outside corner. Just to give you a little house cleaning, Jamie with 263 wins is the active leader in victories. Andy Pettit is 2nd with 236. Rich Doobie's to the phone, making sure Lidge is ready. In the air to left field, Ibanez has room at the track, makes the catch, 1 away. Jamie Moyer's 2 outs away from picking up the complete game. And he's had some great defense behind him, Wheels.
Yeah, they've had a lot of easy plays, and they've had some really good plays, too. That's that 5-4-3 double play that was really close. Look at this play here by Chase Huntley, and then Ryan Howard on the other end. Tom mentioned that he's made some tremendous plays. Here's another one by the big guy as he kicked that ball in the hole and wanders on over there to first base for the unassisted.
8 1/3, 7 hits, 2 runs, 1 walk, 1 strikeout. Not a whole lot of extra base runners for Jamie tonight. Here's Jerry Hairston Jr.
Well, 1 more base runner, and it is a save situation. Because a tying run would be in the on-deck circle. Well, that's why they want to make sure Lidge is ready.
Back-to-back curves, a swing and butt. Jamie's got it. The bare hand in the flip. He figured his momentum was carrying him over there. I think the ball got stuck in his hand.
Well, that thing, you figure how much was that baby spinning? That had to be a top coming out there where you had to try and grab it, smother it, and then pick it up.
Look at this. The crowd, this sold-out crowd, coming to their feet with 2 outs.
There it is. Now watch this baby is spinning like crazy as he goes after it. And there he goes. He picks it up. That guy is amazing. He really is. He's just fun to watch. He loves this game. And he's like a little kid when he's out there.
He is. 2 outs. Everybody to their feet. What a scene here in Philadelphia. 47-year-old Jamie Moyer trying to pick up his second complete game of the year. Oscar Salazar way out in front.
They still haven't figured out what he's doing to them, and that's good because he's down to 2 strikes. What a change up that way.
Salazar hitless in 3 at-bats. Just off the outside corner. I think everybody flinched. Everybody in the crowd.
Well, he went change up again, hoping he'd take another wild swing or maybe make a weak out and go shake hands.
Towards shortstop. On one hop. Valdez has it. In time to retire Salazar. Jamie Moyer becomes the 3rd pitcher in baseball history to win 100 games after turning 40. His second complete game of the year. And what a dazzler as the Phillies defeat the Padres 6-2.
Talk about Randy Jones and Jim Cott tonight. Well, that baby was 202. That's amazing. Today's game, 202. Wow.
Spectacular performance by Jamie Moyer after a very rough second inning. That was the only speed bump he had all night long. He walked only 1. He struck out only 1. But he has 2 complete games at the age of 47. Stunning.
That's ridiculous.
Our Chevy players of the game, the offense behind Jamie Moyer tonight.
Yeah, they made it a little bit easier. Shane Victorino had a good night with a couple hits, scoring a run. Placido Polanco swung the bat. Chase Utley knocked in a run. Ryan Howard had the biggest hit, I think. That double really seemed to loosen everybody up when he hit that ball in the gap in left center field. Then Jason Worth just put a little icing on the cake with that 2-run home run to right center field. Later on in the ball game, gave Jamie a 4-run lead as opposed to 2. And offense was really good here tonight. Did some things, but boy, oh boy, Moyer was just amazing. And all those ground balls are short. The way he just dazzled them with all that